Hello my dear friends, welcome back to another video. It is I coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. Lucasfilm just revealed something crazy, but it's 5 years too late, coming up to 6. The Rise of Skywalker comic run by Marvel Comics is on its 2nd issue, and instead of it just being a simple one-to-one comic adaptation of the movie, there are some additional scenes, some new flashbacks, some of Rey's visions, and believe it or not, these contribute to the story in a positive way. And that's coming from someone who wasn't too keen on episode 9. But there is one concept from The Rise of Skywalker I did enjoy, and one I wish they actually finished the movie with: Rey's dark side vision, Empress Palpatine. Now let me be clear about something. I'm not saying the dark side vision itself was the cool aspect. I'm taking it a step further. The idea of Rey turning to the dark side and becoming the Empress is what would have been awesome. I prefer Rey Palpatine to Rey Skywalker. And I'm not making one of those arguments about her last name or appropriating the Skywalker name. I'm saying it would have been such an unforeseen amazing twist if the dark side vision became Rey's reality, and she became the Empress. And the new Rise of Skywalker comics give us a brand new look and more cutscenes of Dark Side Rey. These are manifestations of Rey's inner fears. She sees herself replacing Darth Sidious, the revived Emperor, sitting on the throne on Exegol. And standing beside her, Kylo Ren, a similar dynamic to Palpatine and Vader, the Palpatine lineage and the Skywalker lineage. And in her vision, Kylo Ren is her apprentice, the rule of 2. Or another interpretation, because they're a Force dyad, they share a unique, unbreakable bond, and they rule as one in front of their loyalists, the Sith Eternal. Something else that they just revealed, in the comic, she is called the Queen of the Sith. Now I understand the refutations to this. If Rey had turned to the dark side, the point of the movie is null. Taking the Skywalker name, not being tied down by blood, not being defined by heritage, all of that goes right out the window. But it would definitely be a big twist, and had Palpatine won and transferred himself into Rey, that would have been the wildest setup for the Simon Kinberg trilogy, but Lucasfilm would never do that.
Rey Skywalker.
Although, my dear friends, there are some who say Palpatine did win, because at the end of the day, he got Rey to strike him down, and maybe his essence transfer was a success. The canon explanation says that's not true, because the conditions of the Sith ritual were not completed. Rey didn't kill Palpatine out of anger, although I'm sure many fans disagree with this. So let's say it's true, and Palpatine succeeded. He said, "I am all the Sith," and then Rey said, "And I am all the Jedi," and then she kills him. But what if in that moment, when she was deflecting his Force lightning, his spirit transfer was a success, and just like parasitic possession, the Sith live on in Rey. And a major part of this theory posits that when Rey finally hears the Jedi of the past, those voices are Sidious playing with her mind. He's the one impersonating those Jedi. We know he can do this. He was every voice inside of Kylo's head. Snoke, Vader. What if the same is true for the Jedi voices? It was a way for Palpatine to inspire Rey to strike him down. This has been theorized as a way to explain why we don't see Force ghosts. Not all of those Jedi learnt how to become a physical manifestation, but Qui-Gon, Yoda, Obi-Wan, Luke, and Anakin absolutely could. And it has bothered fans that for the last episode of the Star Wars saga, they didn't use Force ghosts in that moment. All of the Jedi that helped Rey should have been behind her, so that definitely gives the Palpatine theory some credibility. But I guess because Rey didn't strike Palpatine down in hate, the ritual failed. Rey chose the light. But I'm a big fan of dark twists. I know it doesn't give the message of hope. I understand that Star Wars is for families, and in the end, it was meant to be about Rey overcoming the hurdles of her lineage. But I have to be honest, my dear friends, I would have preferred the Palpatine route, rather than her taking on the Skywalker name. And doesn't the name Empress Palpatine, Queen of the Sith, sound much better than Rey Skywalker? Considering we now know they're making another trilogy, they should have ended the Rise of Skywalker with Ben Solo alive, turned back to the light, and Rey turned to the dark side. A good old switcheroo. And in the next trilogy, Ben Solo tries to rebuild the Jedi Order, and Rey becomes the villain. I know it sounds wild, it sounds insane, but to me, and maybe it's because I'm a fan of the Sith, that would have been way more exciting. And you know what? It would have got fans talking. Because I know some fans did really like episode 9, but to those who didn't, it was almost like a nail in the coffin. because The Last Jedi sparked so much anger, so much outrage, fan debates. There were defenders who loved it, but so many fans who saw it as the movie that destroyed Star Wars. And as a result, for the months and years that followed, fans were still talking about it. Rise of Skywalker discourse didn't last more than a few months, and yet plenty of fans say it was worse than The Last Jedi. So knowing that going into the movie, knowing that fans really didn't resonate with Episode 8, I understand why Episode 9 tried to play it safe to some extent, but they might as well have just gone all out. Take crazy risk, turn Rey to the dark side. It would have been a culture shock. Maybe not on the scale of the Darth Vader reveal in The Empire Strikes Back, but certainly one which would have sparked praise, derision, doubt, fan theories, but more than anything, anticipation for the continuation of that story in the next trilogy. Even if fans hated it, it was an open-ended question. Is Rey really evil? Is she gonna turn back to the light? And I'm sure there would have been more anticipation than there is right now for those films. And in light of the Rey movie, and everything post-Episode 9 to come, we're probably going to hear some updates at Star Wars Celebration, but fans are wondering if Adam Driver is going to return as the ghost of Ben Solo. They should have let him survive. There was a lot of love for Kylo Ren, or should I say the promise of that character. In this version of events, Ben is the star of the next trilogy. But again, just like Rey's vision, it's all hypothetical. It's all a path they could have gone down, but they didn't. So don't get too mad at me in the comments if you disagree with my take. It just would have been a bewildering twist. Because what's one of the biggest criticisms levied towards Rey? That she's a quote, Mary Sue, that she didn't have as many hurdles, that everything comes easily to her, her training, her powers. So why not embrace those qualities, using all of the things that fans didn't like as Rey's path to the dark side? And I know that what I'm saying is heresy for fans of Episode 9. Another way they could have done this, have Palpatine haunt Rey even further. As a gateway, offer her the power to defeat the First Order. He could mask his intentions and frame them as good. Play with her mind. There are a million different ways they could have gone about it, but I wish there was more than just a Force vision. For now, my dear friends, this comic run is going to have to do. And it reveals that Rey was having visions of the dark side from the very start of the movie. In a conversation with Leia, Rey is distracted, and she sees herself on Exegol, this time with her double-bladed lightsaber ignited. Imagine her dueling Ben Solo with this. Like I say, it goes against everything the Rise of Skywalker set up, but it would have been an awesome lead-in to Episode 10. What do you guys think? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you a fan of Dark Side Rey? Is she better than Rey Skywalker as we go into the Rey movie and the Simon Kinberg trilogy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.